What up everyone, Shark here, welcome back to the channel. Got a 2v2 cast for you today. We're on the new map, Lorraine, and I don't know about you all, but I've been kind of trying to figure out the new meta after the patch and then the hot fix. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at some really high level players to include a top 10 2v2 player in Symbiosis on random teams and see where they let the game take them. Co-casting with me is Olvadi, so lots of good analysis, lots of good discussion. Hope you all enjoy. All right, cool. So we are here on Lorraine for a 2v2. We got Symbiosis, who is the heavyweight 800-pound gorilla in this matchup, in teal playing USF. You guys teammate crywo1f playing Brits, immediately going Aussies. So were Aussies banned in every round of the latest MetaPlays tournament, Olvadi?
95%. And the remaining 5% were Canadians.
Yeah, and they're up against double DAK here. Magicstick in red, Debakle, our boy Debakle in purple. I feel like Aussies are a natural counter to DAK, so I think this makes sense. But talk to me a little bit about this map, Lorraine, just because I think it plays differently than the other 2v2 maps.
I have to admit don't have that much experience of Lorraine. I played one game on it and then I veto it. So I'm not a huge fan of those close quarter urban maps because they tend to be, cheesy is maybe the wrong word, but it breaks with so many conventions that certain units, certain build orders suddenly excel, which makes the gameplay really, really boring in my opinion.
Yeah, it can be really tough to deal with garrisons. Like it totally changes your build. It was like, you know, the original Invisible MG42, where you almost had to come out assuming your opponent had it, and it would totally throw off your build orders and your timings. I think they've done a good job. You see some of these buildings here are boarded up, are not viable as garrisons, but there's still a ton of garrisons on this map. And I think that's why you see both the DAK players going for double Panzer Pioneer, because he gives them the option to do some garrison clearing early on. Maybe we'll see breach from these riflemen.
It's a perfect map for breach, right? Basically, with the breach rework, this map was introduced as well. So kind of like, look, we have no working breach. We have an urban map. Please players use breach.
Yeah, please. Here's a great map to just try it. Yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised Symbiosis choosing advanced infantry and playing rifle heavy, especially against DAK. That would be what our boy Mule calls easy lose, right there. But something tells me Symbiosis is going to figure out a way to make that make sense. Probably
I think
with
people
Rangers.
are a lot of playing riflemen currently. We had a big buff to them that you can get easy access to the bar now. 30 cals was slightly nerfed or reworked. Still hard to judge if it's a nerf or a buff. Depends on who you ask there, but yeah, makes sense that people are not trying out the new riflemen, figuring out if they're worth it. Maybe against stack a little bit risky, but will be interesting for sure.
I think the one flip side, you know, and I've been playing a fair amount of ones this patch, just trying to kind of figure out how the meta feels. And Wehrmacht infantry, I feel like fare really, really well against riflemen. The Panzergrenadiers, Stoffstruppen, even the Jaegers or the G43s. But the DAK, you know, outside of the Guastatori, I don't feel like they have anything that just dominates riflemen. So maybe that's the thought process here.
Yeah, but the problem though with the rifle and DAK matchup is DAK will lose infantry engagements in the 1v1 there, like riflemen against palm grenadiers. However, DAK has the 250 and the flak, and tier 1 players or barracks players tend to go for tier 3 and then have a really late access to AT and not that mobile AT with the AT gun.
Yeah.
So the biggest weakness of DAK is countering their LV play, and rifles are not able to do that.
I think maybe just specific to this map, right? The flak furling's a little bit riskier or harder to use because of all the sight blockers. And you might be able to get, with all these sight blockers and tight corners, you can get your riflemen to a spot where they can kind of come around a corner and get a snare off. Let's see. I don't see a weapon support center from Symbiosis. He's gone ISC and he's put up healing and base for his team.
Sadly, casualty recovery being bugged, which even further nerfs rifleman build orders.
Oh, it's bugged. Tell me more.
It's bugged for every faction. USF and Wehrmacht, the only two factions that have access to that. But medics are not running around and collecting the models.
Oh, they're not? So you mean in my last several Wehrmacht games, I've been wasting munitions by building a bunker? A medic bunker?
Yes, you are.
Oh. This is what I get for not playing the game for like 2 weeks. Oh, well.
I think a lot of players don't know that, actually. We had an interesting tournament game on the weekend from Aussie, I think against Texas. He went as Wehrmacht, base heal, like the HQ heal. And then, because he played heavy elite infantry, he went for med bunker.
For the double healing?
Yeah, obviously for double healing. He wanted to have casualty recovery. But since it's not working...
Yeah, all he got was slightly higher healing rate. I mean, if you've got the resources, I suppose, and like my experience with Wehrmacht is they're not usually bleeding that much manpower, so it makes sense. Man,
by the way, interesting build order from Debakle. He went assault grenadiers. That's not the interesting part, but he went for Italian combined arms, but without berserkers, and he went for the infantry buffs instead of the weapon upgrades.
I've always wanted to do that as like an academic exercise, but I don't normally roll with the Bursley in my lineup. So I just want to point out, Symbiosis has done a fantastic job moving his rifles around this map. Oh, there's breach. Rifles forced to dip out. I wonder if he's going to counter breach. No, he's going to get out. The assault grenadiers from Debakle, really nice counter to this rifle heavy build, and they're going to breach again.
Breach. I love this mechanic.
Oh, the rifles just hop into the next house over.
Yeah, the dance of the breach.
Oh, and there's the 250 with the flame track. So lots of good micro here on the south side of the map. Oh, these rifles, that's a terrible retreat path. Oh no.
Oh, retreat. The buckle tried, but then no, the retreat path, so yet he get nothing.
Oh.
But he's should get the wipe anyways.
Yeah, and actually, Panzerjager is forced away. Look at all these flamethrowers. This is disgusting.
Yeah. The thing is, you can't really use nades as a long-term solution for garrisons. Because if the micro of your enemy is on point, he will just dodge every nade and jump straight back into the building. Doing the house dance, as we love to call it in CoH3. So you need something that denies the garrison completely.
I know that's supposed to be a sign of good micro, like jumping in and out of garrisons like that, but it drives me crazy to play against. Both DAK players leaning into assault gren builds. We're going to see a tier 3 build from Magicstick, so an 8 rod on the field. I do like that, but normally against USF, you know, 2-pounder out, so we'll see if it works against the Aussies.
I'm not sure about AT guns on this map though. There are a lot of side blockers, a lot of shot blockers, so an 8 rod or a flag, basically anything that's relatively mobile will get a couple of shots off, and then just vanish behind the building, and you will never get any meaningful damage done there.
Yeah, it's true.
This map kind of screams, please get a steward.
and mines. I feel like there are so many tight paths, right? It's basically, if you want to go along this route, you have to drive down the center of the road. And so this is a great map to just mine up all the flanks. And the allied team, oh, speaking of which, there goes a Greyhound. One shot by mine. Oh my gosh. Who is that? Yeah, that's Magicstick with the teller. Yeah. Incredible.
That's why, kids, we always keep a sweeper next to our LVs.
Oh, Vickers team run down, and there are no sweepers on the field for the allies. Well, they found out the hard way that Magicstick is playing Panzerjager command. Oh, these assault grens are done. Yeah, Aussie's not letting them get away.
First Important wipe though. MG will be recruited, so not the end of the world.
Oh, I like that grenade assault, but somehow the rifles choose to go around the wall instead of vault it, and Symbiosis gets away with one there. Oh, look at this. He's on the backside. They're gonna get another squad from Magicstick. Oh, the Pioneers just get out of there.
He has some war stories to tell, my friend.
Bro, he's not gonna talk for days.
Well, maybe that. Oh, crywo1f did not recapture the Vickers, so now we'll give it to Magicstick. That's a huge misplay.
Oh, he's gonna try to destroy it with a 2-pounder, but now he runs
yeah,
risk
now he
of
will lose
losing
the 2-pounder as well.
Yeah, where's this half track? Oh, Debakle rolling up with his half tracks. Maybe he can tow it away. Oh, they're just gonna hard recrew.
True mechanized warfare.
Yeah, the engineers get caught putting a mine down. Instead, they're gonna have to run all the way home being chased by assault cranes. Symbiosis comes over with his rifles to try to recover this 2-pounder, and he will. But man, it's crazy to me. All right, Symbiosis going for the Chaffee because he went motor pool. I would almost rather have Zooks, don't you think, to deal with all these half tracks?
Yeah, I think overall tier 3 still, I don't want to say it's a bad pick because the Greyhound is really strong, but it's a relatively expensive tech for just getting one Greyhound out. Meanwhile, tier 2 offers everything. You have the amazing half track, you have the amazing Zook, you have MGs, you have so many things that's so good and don't depend on any battle groups to be good. So I would still prefer tier 2 over tier 3, at least against DAK.
Yeah, I agree. I think even if you don't go for the 75 mil half track, the quad mount is nice and mobile, moving around, harassing these infantry, chewing up the light vehicles, and then the Zooks. And then if you end up going Rangers and you get Zooks on them, you can get the upgraded Zooks as well. So like, yeah, missing out a little bit here, but far be it from me to criticize Symbi.
Oh, Symbi knows how to play. He's around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
He's also a CoH3 legend.
Oh,
this... And the CoH2 player. Oh, mop-up operations there. Debakle losing all his half tracks.
This Crusader. Nice play from crywo1f. Leaning on Symbiosis until he can get his Crusader out. And the Crusader train, you gotta think, is coming.
Oh, yeah. But double Panzerjager is actually not decent against Crusaders, since they got cheaper reinforcement cost and building cost. They are decent, especially if you can stack those sweet veterancy bonuses on them.
Yeah, but now you got over repair is going to come in here. What do you think? Over repair, does it need a nerf? What do you think?
Yes. I'm preaching this, I don't know for how long on my stream. Something needs to be done to the Crusader train, and over repair is just making the problem worse.
Yeah, Crusader train is not fun to play against. Oh, nice stun grenade onto these engineers. They try to clear this MG. Symbiosis going for the demolitions package, so maybe we'll see some counter big mines from the USF. And the nice thing is, with that package, the rifleman can lay them too.
And if Symbiosis is doing it correctly, the map will be full of mines. They have a decent ammo income. Symbiosis also has nearly 260 ammo in the bank. Probably once the upgrade is unlocked, 300 ammo. So there are a couple of mines can go down.
Yeah, so the fight has shifted primarily to the center here. Oh man, this over repaired. Oh, tank busters get a shot off. They're not vet 1 though, so no risk of that a spam AT grenade ability. Wow, yeah, and that Crusader even over repaired. It's a good thing it was over repaired because it is now back for repairs again. Debakle loses a Panzer Pioneer squad in the south, and Symbiosis is going to roll up. Looks like this whole corner, and Debakle kind of forced to choose. Do I want to hang out in the middle with my teammate, or do I want to flex down, try to take control of this fuel?
We have the most expensive P4 ever on the field now. Considering the upfront cost you have to pay with the tech. And please, Debakle, get some heal. Look at his units.
Oh no. Chaffee, engine critted. What? No, don't stop there. Oh, gets knocked out, busted by the tank busters.
They're doing what they're paid for.
Yeah. Oh, Symbiosis with good map control in the south, but he has suffered some losses. Greyhound, now Chaffee.
I'm not sure why Symbiosis went for advanced infantry. He only has one artillery observer. So usually you see multiple of them if you want to play with them. He has no rangers. He has not used the other ability that he unlocked. He has 3 CP in the bank. He basically has a battle group that does nothing.
I think he's trying to decide how he wants to play this, which is why he's banking the CP. There we go. He's decided to go for Rangers, so I would not be surprised to see advanced logistics here. Let's see. Not yet.
Nope. But it's down the line for sure.
Yeah. And maybe a side tech to weapon support center for the upgraded Zooks.
Debakle went for the big boy gun. The 88 is on the field. But not towing it
that
reverse to the front, so if it's shooting, it needs to turn it and has an awful traverse speed.
But that's
slight micro ticks there.
The Allies gonna get the triple cap on here and apply some pressure. The 88 against just 2 Crusaders on the Allied side. I feel like that's a really aggressive overinvestment.
I'm not a big fan of the 88 against Crusader spam because you will get one shot out, maybe a second shot. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, it just went over the cliff. Well, I'm glad that you know. I'm glad the 2.5 ton truck has the torque to get it back up the hill. That is some German engineering right there.
Yeah.
You know, some engineer at Volkswagen is like, oh yes, see, it had to have this much torque because for this exact scenario, it's not over-engineered, it's exactly engineered.
You mean an engineer at Opel? Because it's Opel Blitz.
Opel, yeah, you're correct. Oh man, one squad of assault grens wiped out by some rangers. And a nice grenade.
But Symbiosis has to run.
Yeah, he should. Wow, these assault grens actually not killing the rifles as fast as you would think for 2 vetted up, not vetted, but buffed up assault grens.
Yeah, assault grenadiers without assault is about feel lackluster.
Yeah.
They're not bad, obviously, but compared to the way how you can play them aggressively with assault disembark.
Oh no, Magicstick, both of his vehicles over here in need of repair, they're gonna get knocked out. Oof.
Throw this. Oh, Magic Cap not having enough ammo for the grenade assault.
It's probably because he's been putting mines down all game. Now,
always keep enough ammo in your bank for snares.
Oh, oof. That was painful. These Crusaders just doing work. Man, it must be nice to have a faction where you only need to build 1 unit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interestingly, both players went for P4.
Yeah, they both went armored reserves. We could see some Tigers here if they survive long enough to make it.
They have decent fuel income, 28 fuel per minute. They actually have... They're controlling the top where the most of the fuel is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's actually really nice.
Their problem is going to be VPs.
Oh boy. Oh boy, repeats are a problem. But I think Debakle should earn or capture the bottom VP now. He was able to force off Symbiosis.
Yeah, this is one of those situations, Art, he's moving to it, where if you're not like super locked into all the audio cues, you might not realize that it's that close. But he's prioritizing it appropriately. It looks like he wants to put his 88 down here. Meanwhile, Symbiosis finally building a Sherman with all that fuel he had banked up. He also went for the NPC assault, not the ranger weapon training. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of rangers.
Now 1 support ranger, and that's it. He got the flamer off, so
yeah,
he won the gacha game. Flamer and bazooka on the ranger. So building clearing shouldn't be a problem there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I played a match on this where I rushed Rangers, like advanced logistics and Rangers as fast as I could, and it can be fun and satisfying to have them come around a corner and shred people with Thompsons, but against a competent opponent, it's still not going to work.
Yeah, I think the main strength of advanced infantry at the moment are not the Rangers, but rather the artillery observers. They're relatively cheap and have really good combat performance, and they have this obnoxious beacon.
Oh, the 88, that Sherman is going to be off the field for a minute.
Symbiosis has though 2 pioneers, one vet 1 and a second one vet 2, so he has access to the good repair.
Oh, I can't believe that captain got away with that grenade assault. And actually, Rangers doing a better job of pushing than I thought, and they have to retreat. Here, there's just too much firepower. Yeah, Symbiosis, good map control push, but he bled a lot for that. Oh, that's a creeping barrage coming in from his teammate.
That does nothing.
Oh, Panzer Pioneer.
Okay, it did something. Yeah. Actually, not too bad.
Nice dodge from Debakle there. I didn't think that the creeping barrage was going to take that kind of awkward angle.
Creeping barrage is always dangerous because the flares are not there where the barrage stops, but only in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to have an idea where it's going. Otherwise, you might lose a lot of units there.
Oh, Magicstick going for the walking Stuka. I understand. I don't know. I go back and forth on the walking Stuka. I feel like some games it's basically required for DAK to be viable.
But not in this game.
You really need the barrages to hit and to have a huge impact. And when you're this behind on VPs. Oh, and that Sherman's almost fully healed already. Oh, Crusaders come in for the P4.
Oh, AT is still close by. That's a dead P4.
That is a dead P4. Tank Busters in the area, but they're not close enough. And look at all the supporting allied infantry. Crusaders could just make a push of it. Oh,
yeah,
no.
Full retreat is required. It might be a total wipeout there for Magicstick.
Yeah.
If our allies decide to chase.
And they're at least chasing some. Oh, the other P4 arrives. This is a bad engagement for Debakle's P4.
The danger zone as well.
Yeah. Symbiosis is like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'm just gonna get my Sherman out of here. Oh, the double snare. Now the Zook's coming in. This is another dead P4.
Will it bounce? 2 more shots. Oof. Here we go.
That was a big swing. A Tiger arrives for Debakle. He is going to be able to grab the Southern VP here, but they need a second. And you can't just afford to sit there with the Tiger. You got to be active, and so the chance of them holding on to 2 VPs at this point is slim to none. Oh, Panzerjagers go to move up and just immediately eat some Crusaders. Oh no, where's this? There it is. 1 dead engineer.
It's something.
But yeah,
Room's over repair, so it's okay.
Yeah, Crusaders get away. That they just don't have the VP control. And this is going to be GG here in the next 15 seconds or so. Which is a shame because I feel like... Oh, more creeping barrage. Does he see it?
Nearly friendly fire there from the creeping barrage.
Well, MG goes down. Yeah. That was a nice little, like, CoH3 style, end of game finisher there.
Victory strike.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. KD, really good for Magicstick. 1-to-1 for Debakle. Symbiosis on the negative side, as you'd expect. For the Advanced Infantry Battlegroup, and I've offered this up before. I think that's, in my opinion, the biggest weakness of Advanced Infantry is it leads to a playstyle where you essentially throw away infantry for territory gains, which is kind of, I don't know, not in line with the style that I'd expect. Like, if you want to lead infantry, they should be expensive but potent and punch above their weight. Totally separate discussion. What did you think here? I know normally you'd expect a double DAK team to be on the back foot, but what did you think about the approach here, especially in an urban map like Lorraine?
I think the idea from Debakle was good. Go assault grenadiers. Palm grenadiers won't do much. Also playing with assault half tracks, I really like that. Not sure if pairing them up with combined arms or Italian combined arms is the way to do it. Because you get infantry buffs, you get more vision, and capture rate, I think, is the other one.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's worth throwing your battle group.
Vision and capture rate. Yeah.
Yeah. Throwing away your battle group for those two things. Not a big fan of that. 88 felt weird. And 88, in my opinion, is good. It has a spot in the meta. However, it's really niche spot where you think, okay, the enemy is playing really heavy tanks where I can't penetrate them, like the Churchill, like the Pershing. Pershing is already like a question, but like those slow-moving British tanks where you have the time to get damage on them. Like, everything else is too fast. You will get one shot, maybe two shots off, and then the enemy will stand next to you and you will collapse.
Yeah, it feels like a weird, just like a, and you know, I'm not trying to be critical of Debakle. It just feels like a weird read, right? Especially when you've already gone armored reserves, right? So you're gonna get the best DAK armor on the field. He got a Tiger. The Tiger is enough to deal with anything on the field. It's really the swarm of Crusaders, and I wonder if we asked Debakle if the thought process was, well, I know I'm going to deal with a bunch of Crusaders, and I just want to be able to lock down a VP. Yeah, I kind of think more tanks would have been the way to go. Like, you get a Panzer III train or Panzer IV train going, and Panzer IVs are like, a single one of them is not that overbearing, but you get 2 or 3 of them, especially with all the DAK upgrades, and they just start to chew through the allied infantry.
I totally agree. People are, I don't want to say sleeping on the P3 train, but they should remember how strong it was in the past. The P3 never got any buffs or nerfs, so it's still in its same state. Some would say sorry state, some would say OP state, depending on who you ask. Yeah. And now it was not really good against USF in the past because of the Zooks blob that we had supporting the MG spam. And P3s can't deal with Zooks and the GMC. However, now with Riflemen coming more back into the meta, I think you can get, again, P3 trains going with, I don't know, armored support, where you get pure fire drill, a command P4, and then just roll your enemy with all those sweet buffs. Yeah, I think the armored people should not sleep on the P3 anymore that much.
Yeah, the other option might have been armored support for the Flampanzer. On a map like this, where you can avoid hard counters like AT guns through shot blockers, but you might get like nice long retreat paths to chase. You know, the timing isn't ideal because at 5 CP, it still takes a while to come out, but it can be really potent.
Oh, I totally agree. I think armored support is a good pick there. Yeah. And the other thing, the Magicstix, I think the Stuka was a little bit, he was reading the room not correctly. No, there were not many support weapons on the field, so Stuka is not the way to do it. And especially if you're already hard-pressed on VPs, artillery is often the wrong unit. Because keep in mind, artillery can't shoot all the time. It has a cooldown from, I think, 90 seconds at vet 0, or 60 seconds?
I think 90 feels right, yeah.
90 seconds. So you can only shoot every 90 seconds. And if you're already hard-pressed, like down to 50 VPs, that's at best one barrage, and then you're out of VPs.
Yeah. I think the way I describe Magicstick's build is unfocused. And again, like the caveat being like I get the advantage of being the caster and getting to sit back here and pick it apart. Having made all the same mistakes in my own games. I think when you look at the build, 2 Panzer Pios, 2 Panzer Grenadiers, a Panzerjager, 2 Assault Grens, and then on the vehicle side, you see a couple of 250s, an 8-rod, P4 Walking Stuka. This very much feels to me like a game where the teammates, they're not arranged teams, and that's the case. These are randomly assigned teams on both sides. So for Magicstick, you know, the Panzer Grenadiers, I think as soon as you see Aussies, like Panzer Grenadier is not really the way to go against Aussies. I would prefer to see you lean into Assault Grenadiers and that mechanized approach, like combat half tracks relatively early, some 250s, and then rather than the 8-rod, I like the Stug D, especially on a map like this. Like, what do the Brits have before the Crusade? Like, what do the Brits have that's going to frontally penetrate a Stug D? What, a 6-pounder maybe? And you're not even going to build it on this map because of the sight lines. The Crusaders have to get on the flank, and so if you, instead of over investing into Panzer Grenadiers, you get some Panzerjagers out, you can protect. That would be my change, because I think these guys played it well, but when you saw both DAK players go for armored reserves, like nobody was building kind of the bridging tier 4, like, hey, let's get some P3s out, let's get some Stug Ds, let's get something that can hold the mid game. And I think that's where they ended up losing, is they gave up too much map control from like the 10 to the 18 minute mark that bled all their VPs down.
Oh, I agree. I agree totally.
And then
I think it's the biggest skill in code to adapt, like learning to adapt when to deviate from your build order, because overall both build orders made sense on the more standard map.
Yeah.
You're locking down the map side and then slowly grind the enemy down. Obviously, DAK might not be the ideal faction for that, but you can do it with DAK. DAK has the tools for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Lorraine, you had probably to adapt to a more aggressive playstyle.
Yeah.
And used more units, especially if you're hard pressed.
Yeah, everything.
Like I said, adapting is something even the top 50 players do wrong often, or a top 10 player. So it's the hardest skill to learn in code, because it's so hard to adapt properly with the limited resources you have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back and look at this again. Like, really, I think if I had to say what the mistake was here, is probably the Panzer Grenadiers, which if you look at the KD that they had, and you look at their efficiency factor, they actually fared okay. But it's more the opportunity cost of not getting Assault Grenadiers out when you needed them, and having a unit that likes to fight at range on a map without range. The last thing that I want to hit here, and this is the state of CoH3 right now. So we talked early on about like, what does the new meta look like? Well, the British meta hasn't changed. Like 4 Aussies, 3 Sappers, a 2-pounder, a Vickers, into Crusader train. Like, what else do you need? That battle group, especially against DAK with the early 2-pounder, right? Like, generalist units, and Cromwell, rather splendid Cromwell, did a great video on this back at the beginning of CoH3. Generalist units are really tough to deal with, and frustrating to play against, like anti-everything units. And it feels like the Brits have a couple of those. Humber in the early game kind of hard counters everything early, unless you have to build a Panzerjager as DAK up against Brits. You have to, because the Humber's coming. Like you said, if instead of Humber you go Stuart, like what does he have on the field to counter Stuart? Again, he's got a blob Panzerjagers, and then instead he goes for Crusaders. They're just so fast with over repair. They're super tanky. They shoot really fast, and they take a bunch of infantry away with every shot. Really, really tough to deal with, especially when go ahead.
The Brit DAK matchup is really one-sided. It's a couple of patches. A Brit player with Aussies should probably win 9 out of 10 times against equally matched DAK player.
Yeah, all their equivalent units are better, right? The Aussies beat Pgrens, the Sappers beat Panzer Pilots as long as you can keep the range line up correctly. 2-pounders are a great early vehicle counter, like light vehicle counter. And so the DAK player is forced to either go for like a flak filling and hope he can keep it alive. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Can you keep the flak filling alive to push off the Aussies when you need to? Or if you go tier 3 and you go for 8 rods and martyrs, the 2-pounders will just eat you up. And then the Crusaders show up, and without all the upgrades, Crusaders outclass P3s. So yeah. And then there's always the 2-pounder stun meme onto the Tiger.
Yeah.
But yeah, Olvadi, any other thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Not really. Just that I enjoy watching those wonky games. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminds me of the beauty of Co, that not everything needs to be perfectly streamlined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I really enjoy games like this where the players are kind of throwing haymakers, and really brawling it out and slugging it out. Like you can appreciate the skill in a perfectly played game where everyone's choosing the exact right engagement all the time. But like this kind of stuff is fun. And so, yeah, I prefer watching games like this for sure. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us here. Olvadi, thank you very much. I know it's super late, so I appreciate you staying up. And GG, well played to crywo1f, Magicstick, Debakle, and Symbiosis. That is going to do it for us here, and we'll see y'all in the next one.